preparing to live stream the meeting, setting up your meeting for YouTube Live. This is all different now because they've done so many updates. Done.
I see live on YouTube right now, as a matter of fact.
Perfect. Welcome to the late sesh. This week's guest is Dankman Dan, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Red Setter Farms. Fellas, what's happening?
How you doing?
Excellent, brother. Excellent.
What's going on tonight, Scobo? Dankman Dan, cannabis
Chilling.
community. It's happening.
A little cup of coffee, a little bit of cannabis to go with it.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to have Dankman Dan on Instagram. You have to definitely go check out his page as our guest tonight because he is one of the earliest supporters of the Michigan Bros Grow Show. And he has been with us from the beginning, ardent supporter. And it's really fun to talk to him every day in the chats and everything else. And I just wanted to bring him on here, let him get a session with me and Red, share some good stories, some laughs, and see we got Tara in the chat. How you doing tonight, Tara? Cheers. Tell them about yourself, Dan. This is your time to shine, baby.
Oh my gosh, I'm Dankman Dan on Instagram. Just a caregiver up here in northern Michigan. Enjoying the cannabis life and the community and Michigan Bros Grow Show, and especially all you guys out there in the chat land keeping me busy on Sunday nights. Pretty awesome bunch of people you are.
Yeah, Dan, I got to thank you for being so active in the chat, as always, because sometimes I space out and I don't really get too involved, or I'm so involved in some dialogue or something, you know? Dude, you've been in there back when it was a slow rolling chat, and now that it's spitfiring, you're still rocking and rolling, man. It's always great to see you sending up some smoke signals, saying what's going on. Same with you out there, Tara. You're one in the same too, man. I love you both. Like, you guys are great, always tuning in, and
They're always positive. They always have a kind word to say. They're always empathetic. Like, God, what more can I ask for in friends?
and I mean, I became friends with you guys back when I was just in chat, and before I got on the panel or even met any of these guys. I had a great time back there with you guys in chat, and that was all we were doing, man.
That's
Tons
awesome,
of
man.
spitballing. I always loved having that like chat sesh with you guys, and it's good to have you on board and on the show tonight, man. It really
It is, and I was disclosing to Skillbo, sometimes I even lose the content of the show because I get caught up in the chat sometimes, and it's easy to do, and I have to come back and rewatch your guys' show to get the full content, soak it all in, because there's a lot of knowledge out there you guys are giving out.
Dude, that's some of the best parts about like these shows is that there's a whole separate kind of hangout going on in the chat. We're hanging out, or we're hanging out with chat on a lot of occasions. There's like 3 different conversations going on at the same time. There's always something to talk about. There's always somebody to agree with or disagree with or something.
Absolutely.
And it's just a great time, man. It's a blast. I love it.
It is in this community that I've recently learned, about is strong, man, and the people are great, some of the people I've met in person, and it's really nice. It's a really nice bond you have with the cannabis community out there.
And it doesn't know boundaries either. We have people, especially one Miss Tara Wilson, who does not live in Michigan, but is part of our extended family as well, and likes to come traipsing up into the mitten from time to time. So, in fact, you have met Tara, right?
I have. She drove up here to see us, and yeah, it was a short visit, but it was great. And we're gonna have to do it again, make it longer, and get out of this worldly situation in right now, so we can actually have a true sit down and smoke session. A good time, and no time constraints.
What's up, Dre?
What's going on, Dre?
What's everybody?
I was hoping we were gonna have that back at Hash Bash or something, and I know that when it's finally time and we get a good chance to do it, it's gonna be the biggest sesh ever, man.
For
We're all
sure.
gonna bring out
Dude,
like
that
all the
grow
back
off, man.
stocks, and yep. Whenever we get a chance to get down with it, hopefully it happens on the date it's supposed to. But man, that the grow off get together is gonna be fantastic.
It is, man. I'm looking forward to smoking a lot of people's stuff and, a lot of concentrates. I'm looking for some Select Phenos concentrates, man. His stuff looks top notch, and it's going to be a great time.
Before we get to, let's say, whatever you've been doing with your grow off plants or in the grow off or anything like that, what's your end goal with your do you want to take your grow off plants and make rosin? Do you want to
You know,
flower?
I like rosin a lot, but mainly I'm a flower smoker. 90% of the time I'm smoking flower. I do like dabs, but 90% of the time it's flower joints. I don't smoke a lot of bowls. It's always great big fat joints. Um, my end goal is to find some great terps, man. I'm looking for them strawberry terps, and if we get some great terps, we'll do a little dry sift and make some rosin. That's the kind of rosin we like. I find it really hard to press flour after you've pressed dry sift or hash. The returns are just very leaves a lot to be desired on my end. So we don't do a lot of flour pressing, mostly dry sift and hash. Looking to step up the hash game when we get a freeze dryer. So that's in the works.
So which strain has been a good return for you? Because
Gorilla Glue #4 is a really great returning strain. Mandarin Cookies is a really good returning strain if you're pressing flour. All my in-house dry sift presses phenomenally. If I'm putting in 5 grams, we're getting 3, 8, 4 grams back out. So that's on dry sift. But yeah, we're searching them terps, man. Like them.
What's up, Focal Grows? Yeah, I know I've grown the GG4 as well, man. And I don't know. I've always been a fan of it. It's always been good medicine for me since the first time I smoked it like 5-6 years ago. And it definitely gets really, really resiny. It's one of the bigger plants in your garden. It'll fill out a scrog net easily for you. You know what I mean? Like
Right
so
on.
many different boxes that you have to check. And then you as a processor, you get to the point where you're like, okay, I not only have to pick the pheno and run it and everything else, but I need to make sure that it specifically will give me the returns that I want for my investment in this plant as the end processor of concentrates. So that's definitely something to consider.
Absolutely. And Gorilla Glue gives it out, man. It puts it out. It does. There is definitely a lot of return. You're talking 20, 22% or better on the strains that we have, or the cut that we have from Birdwatcher 420. If you're listening out there, thank you for the cut of Gorilla Glue. But yeah, we're always searching for more terps, man. Searching, always on.
Red, what's in the shovel, baby?
That's a shout out to Tommy Trichomes down there talking about dry sift. His favorite. This is Granddaddy Purple dry sift. I finally managed to shake some down and get myself a nice little 5 milliliter container full, which I'm pretty happy with.
Did you say Tommy, the winner of last week's grow off contest for the weekly trichomes? Is that the Tommy trichomes you're talking about?
That winner of last week's weekly grow off trichomes. Shout out to him brother. In chat. Also shout out to, I think it was saw Fenrir, I think is I'm sorry if I butchered that, man. TW out there. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Focal Grows.
Reels, what's happening? Okay. Buddy? See, everybody filling in here. I hope everybody is smoking out something good out there. Thanks for joining us. This is the late sesh. I'm Skilbo, and We have Red Setter Farm and Dankman Dan with us tonight, and we're just sitting down, having a smoke sesh and talking a little bit of cannabis tonight.
Cannabis.
I wanted to ask before we jumped off the Gorilla Glue, Dan, do you happen to? I've asked other people this. It's kind of one of my favorite questions to ask about Gorilla Glue because I wonder how many different cuts are maybe out there or the different grow styles of what could be the similar cut. Do you ever get like a hint of like cocoa powder, like Hershey's cocoa powder off of your Gorilla Glue?
No, I've never, ever. It sounds delicious though.
Would that be because of some old chocolate in the line somewhere along the way?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. The one that my homie always grew, it was thin stemmed.
Yeah,
it's hard to really describe it. It was full of frost. You know, it was. I don't even want to say it was like on the lighter green. It was more on like the whiter side. You know what I mean? Like a whiter type of a flower. Platinum color. Let's call it like a platinum color. Beautiful flower, man. Beautiful flower. Just the thin stem is just great, man. Not a lot of stem meat on there. And you know, whether I don't know, you know, I don't know who or where it came from, whether or not it's Gorilla. I always imagined that was Gorilla Glue. He always had legit cuts. So I just always question that. I always wonder who else. Not I don't question.
You never
the
know.
legitimacy.
You know, do you have a real cut? I mean,
you do by the flavor.
Yeah,
I think if you've had, I've had a lot of it. I've even had a cut that I sourced from a dispo way back in the day. This is real small, but I know that I hate to use like a line from some kind of Antiques Roadshow shit, but I do know the provenance on the cut that I have. And I think that's sometimes what it comes down to is who did you get it from, and then who did they get it from, and can you kind of prove it? And in my instance, it's real easy to do. I got it from a crew member. Spartan Grown gave it to me, and he picked it up from Med Grower just a year ago. So
yeah,
I'm happy with it because I've always been a huge fan, supporter of Med Grower 1 and Mr. Tight. And so I've watched them grow this specific cut for since like 2014, I think is when they were doing it.
And Birdwatcher 420, I know, got his Gorilla Glue from a dispensary up north here. So who's to say where the lineage was from there?
Well, that's a good possibility. From I don't know, you know.
This was way back when, though.
Check it out. Mike Jones is saying like thin stems that couldn't hold up to its weight and prone to powdery mildew. Luckily, I haven't had the PM on that. Let me knock on some wood. And then Focal Grow says spicy chocolate with the Chem Funk. Oh, cheers, Nutrient Shootouts. What's
Chem Funk. That's a good description too. Yeah, I like the Chem Funk.
Chem Glue Funk.
Well, it was funny because when we were just to kind of swerve here onto a different glue, is everybody's had the Citral glue. And I was talking to Red about it one night, and once he put this into my mind, now every time I smell it, I can recognize it. There's a very like limey terps. There's a lot of lime going.
Yeah, there's a strange like margarita, or it's like musky margarita, something like that. But I didn't mean question legitimacy. I meant I like the question of the flavor and
on.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
How they vary.
Came out wrong when I thought about it. I was like, that sounds like I'm saying I question legitimacy. No, I like the differences in within that question of like what's the main flavor, because the flavor that I personally had was that like almost Hershey's type. It's very slight, man, real slight, but kind of spicy, like that Chem Spice also.
Did you see what Michelle is saying in the chat? She's saying, yes, organic expressions bring out the cacao taste that old timers relate to the old Choco tie that's in GG4 genetics via Chocolope. Skilbo was fucking right. Ugh.
Nice. Hey, you know, I don't think I've seen that name in chat before either. So
no, cheers, Michelle.
Michelle, yeah, cheers. If you're new to the show,
Mike Jones, cheers. We see you out there,
brother. I'm glad I saw you in the chat this time. So sweet. Mike Jones, cheers. Everybody out there, what's going on?
Cheers to chat.
Let's get back to Dan. Dan, what's the next thing that you're going to run?
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Last night we popped, it's called Deluxe Sugarcane from In-House Genetics. They just dropped it like 2 weeks ago. We got some of those, so those are popping. Today we sent out to Farmer Freeman. Shout out to Farmer Freeman. Sex testing on in-house genetics, Black Cherry Gorilla and Platinum Purple. We have in the veg tent going, we have this pineapple Thai crossed with strawberry for the grow off. We have Primal Punch F1. We have 3 different phenos of in-house genetics Divine Storm. I have Mandarin cookies from Ethos Genetics. I have in the flower tent going White OG from Seedsman Seeds. Shout out to Birdwatcher 420 for the cut of that. It's a huge plant. I have Seedsman Chocolate Skunk going.
Ooh. Do you like
I
it?
have Seedsman Jack Herrera going in the flower room. And I have 2 different phenos of Divine Storm going in the flower room. So lots going on here, guys. Busy.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so I took a couple things out of that. One of them is it doesn't sound like you're a big. I like the way that it sounds like you said you just got a pack of seeds a few days ago, a couple of weeks ago, or something like that. You already got them popped. Good job with that one, dude.
Shout out to Normish Micro for splitting the seed costs with me.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
That's
how
awesome.
You do it right there.
Hell
That's
yeah,
way cool.
man.
And then you can do your
bonus
sift.
for being local.
Yeah, you both get to pop them. So let's say let's just be cool and say it's a 12 pack. That's 6 and 6. You get to do your sift, and then you guys at the end can run each other's keeper cut in your garden and see if it fucking takes out what you guys have.
Yeah, it's a win-win, man. And actually, we bought a 10 pack of FEMs. We got 13 seeds.
That's even better.
Oh yeah.
Could that extra win on that one be that one of you could potentially hold a male back at one of your properties?
Actually, I gave the extra seed to Normish, and he let me keep the freebies. So it was awesome. And shout out to Neptune Seed Bank because they rock, man. They rock.
That's not a bad deal at all. Keep one extra seed, and then you get a pack of freebies. That's pretty cool.
Man, it was
diversity.
Cool.
I like that.
Worked out.
Yeah,
So we got
cool
those going, and you'll see them being posted on Instagram shortly. Growing in cocoa with nectar for the gods, man. We love it. Shout
That's
out
way
to
awesome.
Nectar.
I had something else that I took away from what you were telling us, but I was so thrown out because I get seeds in the mail and they end up sitting in my seed box for months until I end up popping them. I admire the fact that you get right on them.
This one we did. There's seeds that sit in there. Like when I was pheno hunting, I didn't really pheno hunt much, but when I was looking for my Primal Punch F1, I popped 2 beans out of my 6-pack. I had 1 male, 1 female, and I just happened to have the female that had the punchy terps, and she's a heavy yielder, man. And we just lucked out right from the get, as far as I'm concerned. So sometimes
I love when you find something when you're able to like hold a half a pack back and keep it on the shelf, and you have something that works, something that's terpy and flavorful. Maybe there's something better holding back, but maybe you can hold on to that in case you lose the one that you have right now, and it's awesome. So that's
it
cool.
is. It's a winner. Everybody who tries it. I mean, shout out to Medgar One. This Primal Punch F1 is the shit.
Cheers, Ned Denver. Yeah, I was able to smoke the F1 and the F2 of the Primal when I seen Eagle last. He tossed me a couple little sample jars to wanted to get my feedback on it, which I think is fucking awesome when you get like a really, really good grower like Eagle and he's like, "Hell hey, man, I want to get your feedback on this." You're like, "Oh shit." So,
man, the first time I ever met Eagle, like I said, it was in this grow store. We bumped into each other, and I knew who he was. And I was all starstruck and stuff.
Oh yeah.
He pulled me outside, took a picture with me, man. He reached in his car, and man, that guy gives me a bud. It was about the size of a 1/4 ounce.
Yes.
Here, man, try this.
Sounds about right.
I'm like, shit, man, I didn't even bring nothing for you. Like next time I see you, I'll hit you up. But yeah, man, shout out to Eagle One, man. He's a great guy, man.
Let me take this second here and just say this as a cross promotion. We're talking about Eagle Gardens 1. Definitely go subscribe to him on YouTube. And if you're looking for a little bit of spice and variety tonight, you can switch back and forth between his show and this show, because he's coming on at 11:30 on Eagle Gardens 1 on YouTube. And that's the fucking talking shit with Eagle show. So you'll see, you never know who's going to be on there. You never know how long it's going to go. Sometimes Red or myself or Sequence or one of the other people, Spartan Grown, has come through there. So really
I'll
good
be on there
time.
on Sunday the 19th.
See, there you go. You never know who's going to show up on there, but it's also a good way for everybody that's in the chat to kind of carry over into that and shit. Eagle has great stories. So there we go. Shout out, brother. I love you.
I want to piggyback on that. And just because typically after we're done recording on this show or the other shows, usually when I'm down here hanging out and I've got my records and stuff, I'll pop on some records in my headphones and everything, and I'll sit here and listen to Eagle talk, and I'll just totally just hang out and chat for the next 4 hours or something like that while I sit here and just burn a couple more. But tonight specifically, I want to shout out my good friend Sonia. Wait what, or what wait, I think it's Sonia Wait What on Instagram. She's gonna get her interview, and
with Eagle,
really good friend of mine. Yep. So shout out to her, shout out to Eagle, and
we'll prime the pump and let people know who she is, just other than a name. Why is she important for
so I met her through my best man, my best friend, and the two of them have been incredible friends together for a very, very long time. So I know her through him, and they actually work together. She's a trim manager, runs trim crews, and has been their like head grower and probably partner for many, many years. And that is my best friend who owns New Standard. And so New Standard, they just opened up their first medical provisioning center, soon to be recreational, in Hazel Park, 10 Mile and John R. If anybody's in that area, give New Standard a call, because they are doing curbside pickup. They also have delivery, tri-county delivery. So Wayne, Oakland, and I don't want to overstep my boundaries on saying Macomb or anything, but it's in the tri-county area. I want to say it's in that. So if you have delivery, man, take advantage of it. Can't get out. So shout out to those guys. Shout out to Sonia, the entire crew, and Eagle for putting on this awesome show. I think there's going to be a really cool 420 thing where we're all going to be doing I think we're going to do a Frugal Force meetup. We'll probably do a late Sesh meetup. We'll probably
got all kinds of things coming up
all
on
kinds
420.
Of stuff.
You guys will have to stay tuned and see what we come up with. Aldridge 25, cheers. See you out there. So Dan.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about this community that we were talking about, because you and I are on the same wavelength, and so is Red. Just look at Red's cup, man. That's awesome, isn't it? Nothing like the late Sesh Hoot Owl cup.
That's a hoot.
Dan was telling me before we started here that he really just started growing in 2017, and I told Dan that for him being a grower for 3 years, his plants look way better than mine ever did at that point. He has better genetics than I do. He's just doing it right. Okay. And he said that it's due to opening himself up to the community, putting himself out here. And so I just kind of wanted to vibe on that for a minute and let him talk to that point.
It's
Turk
true.
Farmer, we see you too. Andy, man.
It's true. You know, I was out there searching YouTube for any information I could find on cultivating cannabis. You know, like we said, I hit all the standards: Mr. Canucks Grow, Pigeons 420, Duke Grows, you know, THC Titan, you know, so many out there. I don't want to miss anybody, but ended up stumbling on your guys' show. And it was really unique because I could talk to you guys in person and ask you questions, you know, get answers right away. And, you know, that's what kept me coming back to your show. And then, not that the panel was bad, but it was the people in the show, in the chat that, man, I dig the chat, you know, and I get lost in the show and sometimes miss a lot of the episode because I'm sitting there bullshitting in chat talking. But yeah, man, you guys do a good job, and made me feel like an equal to you guys, you know, and it's cool, man. It's just, I feel like a brother. I feel like I've known you for a long time, and, you know, we've never, ever met face to face. So it's real special, man.
It's easy when cannabis brings you together like that.
Absolutely. I have a sister out there, Tara, I didn't even know about.
Yeah, man. I just want to shout out Turp Farmer and Michigan Native as well, TW. Anybody else that I haven't seen in chat, drop a line in there. We will shout you out. I hope you guys are smoking swell tonight, right along with us.
Absolutely.
Do we shout out nutrient shootouts?
I
saw
did
him
when he
up there.
came in. I did
Oh,
when
did
he
you?
came
Okay,
in.
cool.
Yeah.
What's up, nutrient shootouts? I'll give you a little shout out as well. Cheers.
Nutrient shout out for nutrient shootouts.
Shout out for nutrient shootouts. Did I say that right?
You did. You didn't go full sequence on them this time, brother. We haven't even gone off the rails yet, man. You know what it is? It's because we have Dan here to keep us like balanced and on track and shit. You know,
I am not. I don't have the chat up, so I'm kind of trying to watch it on my phone, and I don't want you to think I'm not paying attention to you guys.
It's a juggling act, isn't it? It's not that easy.
Yeah, man, you guys are skilled, man. You make it look easy, but
no, it was close. I almost started talking about the wind and how I started chopping wood because I was afraid the power was going to go out and stuff. But I'm gonna stop right there and not continue that story.
Baby, come back.
Yeah, it was
Shredder. What's
vicious out today. We got some major snow up here. We don't want to talk about it.
Oh, dude, it was colder than a motherfucker here, man. It was cold, but we didn't get any snow. But man, that wind out there is whipping. So definitely.
Yeah, luckily, hopefully nobody's had no power outages and shit.
Well, that's our PSA point, and I try to do this whenever we talk about weather. Is if you guys have the financial ability to buy yourself even a small generator that you can get before you actually need it, it's a really, 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 really smart investment as a grower. Even if you don't buy the largest one, say you buy one that's just right to run one room, you can literally put your two things, your veg or your flower, and flip them back and forth. You can do something with it. So
absolutely,
definitely look into doing that.
And
don't piss your future self off.
I was just thinking about it today and how I was kind of kicking myself for not getting out there today just in case. Was I actually have a battery pack computer like for the security system and everything, and I was thinking, man, if that sucker's charged up, I could have one of those. Let's say I have that hooked up to my drying room dehumidifier or one of my dehumidifiers. Would that be enough? I would imagine that there's enough voltage coming out of one of those battery banks to power up my dehu or a heater or something like to temporarily get through. I think you can get 4, even 8, 12-hour battery banks.
Well, here's something to consider.
A portion of the cost of a generator.
Which would you? I'll ask you guys a hypothetical question in chat. You can definitely chime in on this as well. If you had the opportunity to only run your lights or to only run your environmentals and go through a dark period, all day. You're an environmental guys.
All day. Yeah, as long as my lights aren't kicking on at wrong times, I don't care if they shut off and give me 48 hours of darkness.
Why?
In my mind, I think that the main stress comes from I don't know. Because I've had it happen before, never really, and I was able to pull out of it. Whereas if my lights kick on in the middle of the cycle, things are fucked up almost immediately.
Hey, what do you think?
I don't know, man. It's best to be prepared and not need it than to not be prepared and need it.
For sure.
So, and then make the investment. You know, if you got thousands and thousands of dollars in your flower room, it's worth $800 for that generator. In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I would say just to add another answer onto mine, because I only covered the lighting, is that if you're in full flower and you have a sealed room and everything shuts off and your humidity spikes up to 80-90%, and your temperature in your middle of winter and your temperatures drop because you don't have a heater running, I mean, you might as well just start over. Yeah, the crop's going to turn to mush.
You can't spray. It's too late. You're already done. You know what I mean? You can fight this thing and spend a lot of money on shit and hopefully be able to do something with it at the end. But a lot of times we keep talking about executive decisions on here. And so the executive decision you have to make is, when do you need to just start over and blow it up?
So let's say we take Dan's advice and we get an $800 generator because it's a portion of the cost. You're going to include it into the cost of your build out. You get a generator. I would have your generator, if only able to wire to a few things, wire it to your heaters, wire it to your dehumidifiers. Yeah.
because those take a lot of wattage now, especially the big ass ones. Those take a lot of wattage.
Yeah, see,
you
I
should-
got like little LEDs I could use, a couple optic ones. They're only 54
Yeah,
watts, man.
Exactly. That's not
I
going to
can
do
keep my
anything.
shit on point with that. It may not be the best, but at least I can keep it on cycle. And
But that's your
I
workaround.
heat with
and you
wood.
could probably run
so-
those off the battery bank. You could probably even at least have some light off a battery bank. Or
Yeah.
veg, if you just got to keep them alive during veg or something. Yeah.
I
Even
tell
if it
you,
was flour, you could do it. You could just, if you had some of those cheap blurples or if you had the small ones, I mean, the plant can consider it a cloudy day, but it'll still work.
yeah,
You know
just
what I
as
mean?
long as you keep
Yeah.
the photo period, man.
So there you go.
In my mind, on a normal room, I got a 6-light room. I would, if I had another generator or a way to tie up something else, one light would be good. One
For
light in
sure.
the corner or something. Everything's
That's all
gonna
you
wake
need.
up.
You're just trying to
Like
avoid a
you said, as long as
catastrophe.
you can keep your environmentals on point and whatever minimal light you have, just keep the photo period.
I mean, imagine walking in there in your week 6 and the power goes out and it's been off for a couple of days and you weren't able to do anything. You walk in when the lights finally come back on and it looks like, the garden gnomes have been eating powdered donuts all over your plants, man. I mean, that just make you sit down. You're just like, oh man, I can't believe this.
I guess then you would learn, damn, I wish I had that $800 generator.
There's always something more that you want as a grower. And that's good because you should try to get better and better at this, whether it's a hobby thing or whether you're a patient or whether you just really, really, really like to grow dank ass weed.
Try to make an improvement every day, whether it's learning something or, if I move my fan this way, I got a little better airflow here. It's an improvement you made on your garden. As far as I'm concerned, try to strive for better.
Keep records.
Yeah, never settle. I kept a lot more better records in the beginning, according to feeds and stuff. But, I was feeding a lot differently back then. So
something that I've learned to do is that I've gotten to the point where I use an app on my phone and I just use Google Keep because it stores to the cloud. I can access it from my iPad, iPhone, PC, doesn't matter, whatever. And anytime I find any interesting articles or anything that I'm reading, like let's say that I'm looking into insect frass, I will literally copy stuff from the website, paste it into Google Keep, and then when I get to the end of it, I'll put in a couple of hashtags so that I can find it easier, whether it's like malted barley or frass or DIY, whatever. And at the very end of it, I always make sure that I put a double track the web link at the bottom so it's clickable. So if I go into my thing, I'm like, man, where the hell is this? Because it's much easier to find it there than it is in like if you use your browser and you have a ton of bookmarks. It gets really, really frustrating. So look in to try to keep track of all that stuff on your phone. You know what I mean? It's just easier that way. And then you can set timers and stuff like that too. So you can say, let's say that you do your IPM every Tuesday. Then you can just set an alarm on your phone that says IPM, boom, 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 and away you go. Use technology to be your friend. Everybody carries it around in your pocket. You might as well use it.
Right on. I have a little dry erase calendar. I do all that stuff.
So do I. I had that before I had the phone.
Well, I got the phone too, but usually I'm too busy taking pictures, man. I take a lot of damn pictures of that weed. I don't know why.
The way I do mine
is so underutilized.
I draw my bed, like I draw the big rectangle, put the line in the middle. Then I just put the little circles in there where the plants are and put 2 initials in there, So like citral glue would be CG, whatever it is. And then I just walk in, and anytime that I do anything in there, I write down the date, what I do. And then I try not to take it off until the very end so I can take a picture of it and save it so that I've got that as a record as well.
Right. I'll do 60-day cycles and then just erase it. Just keep going. Hope you don't have no problems. But I got like a side list where I can keep notes, footnotes and whatnot, things that need to stay that, can't be erased.
And if you're an HPS grower, you can also be smart and set an alarm timer for yourself that goes off whether you change your bulbs every 6 months or once a year, whatever it is that you do, you can set a repeating timer for yourself that will tell you, change your bulbs, change your bulbs, change your bulbs.
That's not a bad idea. I write down in my book when I do change my bulbs, but it doesn't keep me you know, if 6 months went by and I was like, oh shit, I gotta change my bulbs, I wouldn't know it unless I thought about it and went back and searched it up.
Remember they used to write it on the bulb when you go to the store. They would write, you know, at least where I used to, they would write the date on the bulb. Well, I'm not going to know that until I take the bulb out and go, oh, okay, it is, you know, overdue to be changed. I just noticed it in the plants. People be like, oh, I haven't changed my bulb in over a year and a half. I'm like, holy shit, what are your yields like? Because you really start to see a big drop off after a certain point. Yeah, you know, it's not going to kill the plant.
I've gone a year on a bulb and the bulb has died. The bulb has gone out. And I'm like,
really?
I gotta change
You
my
really
bulb.
pushed
time
it.
to get a new
Yeah, I
bulb.
pushed it. And that's how I knew the life on the bulb. I was like, I
Red,
should've
it's
pushed
an
that long.
HPS grow light. It's not a gymnasium light in an elementary school in the 1970s.
Double endeds, dude. Do those double endeds just, I don't know, man.
They're
crank.
They crank.
You only get a year out of them. I can't believe it. I got metal halides that are way older than that, and those things are running 18 hours a day. I need to change my metal halides. Bad. Real bad.
Yeah, I run strictly all LEDs, so
You're smarter than us.
I don't have no bulbs to change, bro.
No, I got the Frankenstein set
I
up,
like
and I've
that,
always
dude.
bragged about that. Well, not bragged, but I'm the first person to tell you I don't even try to say anything like, "Oh, I have great gear." I got shit bag gear.
You know,
but I do what I can with what I got.
If I would go away from LED, I would go ceramic metal halide. If I did any high intensity.
Well, I think with the metal halide, one of the limiting factors is these Michigan basements are where you happen to be growing at, because you can't really slam. I mean, you can, but I would almost think that it would be better if you wanted to go metal halide to use the old hood style system where you
ceramic metal halide.
Yeah, CMHs.
Yeah,
you can put the CMH in there and run them and just pull it out that way so that you can get them closer. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't plan on switching, but when I talk to people and they don't want to make the investment into quality LEDs, I say, you know.
Tommy wants to know which LEDs you're using out there.
Oh gosh, I have HLG 600H R spec. I have two HLG 260 V2. I have Optic One. I have 320 watt Grow Mouse V3 R spec pucks.
Nice.
That's basically about it.
Which one do you prefer?
They're all good. Probably the 600. That thing just kicks it, man. Kicks it. It's so damn bright.
Shredder says Dan's house is dank as mine.
Yeah, it's okay. All my stuff was DIY, you know, so
you have to be somewhat affordable, yeah. Hey, look who's in the chat.
First one I got from HLG, the 260, I bought the kit, you know, and then the second one I got, I figured I'd save myself some money and source out all the parts. And man, by the time I paid for all the shipping and stuff, there was no savings of money. So it's better just to buy the kit at once. If you're gonna do a kit, don't buy your boards and then source out your heat sinks and then your drivers, because it costs you too much to ship.
Cheers, Squirrel Face. And look who's in the chat for you over there now with Normish Micro.
Is he there?
Hey, cheers, everybody.
What's up, Normish?
You missed your time, man. He was talking so good about you earlier when you weren't here, so you're gonna have to go back and check out this from the very beginning.
Homeboy.
Love it how that works out. It always works out that way.
Yeah.
Everybody see that? Nobody saw it.
Damn. Well, you know, going back to the whole beginning, why we had Dan on here is because I've made a joke for months now about how he and Tara Wilson out there are OG Groskies. And the thing that I wish everyone would take away from this, is if they haven't already, is just how kind you are. The kind of person, you know, you present yourself down to earth, you're easy to talk to, you always have something nice to say to people. And it's people like you that I kind of refer to when I say how giving and nice the cannabis community has been specifically towards me. So I just want to take this opportunity to say thanks, Dan. Keep doing what you're doing, man. We appreciate the shit out of you.
I appreciate the kind words, Skilbo. You know, I'm I'm kind of old, so all this cannabis stuff is it's not the way I grew up, man. You know, it was all sheltered and we didn't talk about this stuff. So it's all new to me, and being able to express it the way we do, freely and openly and without judgment. And, you know, it's great, man. It feels good to kind of be out of the cannabis closet. You know?
Well, when did you start smoking? Since
Oh
we
my
want to talk about the
God.
old days, and you are a little bit older than me, we've already verified
Yeah,
that off camera, so I'm not the oldest guy in the room this time.
I
Cheers,
think I
cheers to
started
me.
smoking cannabis. First time I smoked cannabis was in 1986.
Yeah, man, it was a good year.
I was a year
Yeah.
old. Sweet.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was living in California.
Ooh,
Crazy times.
what a great time to have Cali weed.
Yeah, I remember it was a big old banana bud too, man. But you know, I didn't even get high the first time I smoked weed. I don't know why, but
Off of that big old bomb,
yeah, I didn't get high. Um,
you
I
pulled a
don't know
Bill
why,
Clinton.
like
You
I
didn't
said.
inhale,
But
man.
then it was a long time before I smoked again. You know, late in high school, I got stoned then,
I got ripped the first time I smoked weed.
and then
But we're not talking about me.
I went in the Navy in high school. Got out of the Navy, and then I started smoking religiously since I got out of the Navy, and uh, ended up finding out I had a seizure disorder, and so I've been treating myself with cannabis versus taking all the seizure medication they make me or were prescribing me that were killing my liver and stuff. So that's basically a roundabout story of Dankman Dan and how I became where I am.
How do you treat yourself? Do you make like cannabis oil, or do you just smoke a whole bunch? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, smoke a lot.
Let's see, who did I miss in the see? I'm not sure if I shouted you out before. TW, word, what's happening? M Hunter 711, how's it going tonight? Andy Man, good to see you. Let's see, I think that's it. I don't have
Did you
my
see the Killer
skill
Bees in
book
the
class.
house?
Killer
Bees
Bees,
Garden, shout out.
Killer Bees, what's happening? Cheers, everybody. I hope you're having a good night out there.
Absolutely.
I always like to hear people's history of just cannabis and influence and things like that, man. That's
Right.
it's a nice story, Dan. I love it.
Thanks, man.
A lot of times people that we talk to, maybe it's just bias because there's so many people with med cards, but you find that no matter what, that they end up using cannabis medically for some specific reason, not just recreationally.
Started out recreationally.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. I haven't had a seizure in God many years, dude. Over 8 years.
And how many seizures were you having a
That's
day at the
incredible.
height of it?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's not the frequency of my seizures. It was the type of seizure. I had grand mal seizures, and I was actually coming home from work one day and had one driving in my car on the freeway and crashed my car into an oak tree. Put the engine in the passenger seat. Luckily, I'm alive. And I remember I woke up and the state police want to know how much I had to drink. I'm like, man, I just left work, you know. And then I passed out again, but yeah, they took my driver's license away. It was a big ordeal.
Absolutely life-changing, man.
Yeah, I finally got through all that stuff. Like I said, you know, I took their medication for a while, but I'd have to have my liver tested every 6 months because the doses they had such high.
Cheers, balls for life, 420.
Made it through all of it.
Cheers for that, man. Cheers for making it through, and I'm glad that you're still around after that accident and everything, and that you're able to consume cannabis, and I'm glad that it helps, man.
Absolutely. And you know what, man? I picked up some of this stuff here for some tennis elbow issues I have, and let me tell you what, I don't know what's in this magic potion, but it works, man. I put it on my elbow and it alleviates some of that aches and pains that I got there from that damn drywall I do.
That's that repetitive motion, man. And
Tanya.
yeah,
And
that's
today was
harsh.
a rough day with it, so really glad it came in today.
Awesome.
Finding relief.
I'm glad because that's why I make it. I make it for people to be able to go, man, I know that cannabis isn't this magic poof wonder drug that's just going to make all my problems and all my pains evaporate and go away. But it's nice to be able to have this where you can apply it to the specific spot that you need to find some relief, and
You know what, Stumble?
turns it down, man.
If I have to take, or if I'm able to take 2 less Tylenol a day because of it, that's worth it, right?
Yeah. Saving your liver,
Yeah,
saving your stomach.
agree.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, man. Like even ibuprofen's terrible for your stomach and your microbial biome and everything, man. It messes you up. And
I
I'm
had a
so glad
gentleman
cannabis helps
friend.
my headaches.
I had an older gentleman friend. He was 65 years old. His wife passed away. He moved up north here. Became friends with this guy by doing work on his house, man. I mean, this guy would come out, call me over to do work on his house just to talk, you know. Became friends with the guy very well. He called me son. Well, he was treating himself with these Aleve because he had diabetes and had a sore on his foot that wouldn't heal. Well, he was taking 50 Aleves a day, and man, he had this ulcer. It was inoperable. He called me one morning. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. He's like, "Hey Dan, can you come on over?" Me and my wife jumped in the car. We drive over, and yeah, man, this get him. And he's like, "Hey, can you guys take me down to the Grand Rapids Hospital?" I'm like, "Jim, we can't do that, man. We gotta get you to the hospital here." We get him to the hospital here. Long story short, you know, he took so many Aleve that, yeah, it gave him an ulcer in his stomach that was inoperable, and he died because of taking Aleve a day.
Oh my god, dude. I'm so sorry to hear that. And
Yeah, it was
that's
terrible, man.
terrible, man.
Terrible story. So fuck
Just
them.
because it's sold over the counter doesn't mean
Yeah.
that it's completely carefree safe. Definitely, if you're going to use any kind of medication, please look at the label on things and do your own research. Like, what's the long-term damage for this? That's one of the things. Let me just side from this for a minute. I I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me, man. I destroyed my neck and my back years ago. I had PTSD. I'm an ex-soldier. I don't know whether to call it fibromyalgia, whether to call it Gulf War syndrome. Doesn't really matter what name you call it. It's just basically it means like pain. It's a certain amount all the time. And I was taking medication for it, and it was working for fixing the pain, but it was the side effects that came along with that I really disliked. I disliked the person that it was making me become. So
Yeah.
I made an executive decision, and I was like, okay, well, fuck it, let me try this cannabis. And I found that if I had the right stuff, it would work for me. And I liked the person that I was on. So I made an adult decision that I will solely be responsible for. And I said, well, I'm going to discontinue that, and I'm going to do this instead. So that's specifically for me. And it's the reason I say that is because I can feel a kinship with you and what you were going through and how you found relief with it. And, you know, I think it's awesome. And it's patient stories like that that really got me to start doing what I do in the very first place. So
Absolutely, man. I believe in this plant wholeheartedly. Absolutely, with 100% of my being.
I have kind of a personal gripe with I don't even know, not even certain pharmaceuticals. It's really hard for me to trust recommended dosages when all of our physiologies are so different and things. Well, doctors are experts in things, so you got to trust them, I suppose. But I too, so in the epilepsy, the seizure thing kind of, I have a soft spot for that also, and I'm really really glad you're able to find relief with cannabis and that
Thank
helps,
you.
because I lost a cousin who was epileptic, and the reason that she's no longer around is because it was a reaction to her pharmaceuticals, and she was only 16 years old. And so that's, yeah, I mean, I've had a really, really hard spot with that one. And I'm really glad that cannabis is the replacement for that, man, because who knows who could else be suffering from reactions from pharmaceuticals.
Sometimes you just got to go fucking plan B. If plan A, whatever your plan A was in life, and this doesn't have to do with medication or cannabis or anything else, this just has to do with like old man wisdom. I don't care what your plan A was in life and how well laid your plans were and how many nights you stayed up, scheming and everything to get it. If you run into an issue and you run into a wall, you have to have a plan B in life. You have to be willing to shift gears and change and bend and flow kind of like a willow rather than just being some old stiff ass oak tree that can take it up to a certain point and then you just snap and break. Before I lose the mic, I want to say hey to Miss D's Nugs, as well as I Grew Some and BG420 Farms. Cheers, everybody. I hope you're smoking swell right along with us tonight.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. Oh my God, chat's been going crazy. I saw BG pop in there like a second ago, and all of a sudden my entire chat window is already
Sorry,
full.
Chad, if I missed you.
No, I'm trying to I'm letting the conversation go, but I want to welcome people as they come in, man,
Cool,
because this is the late session.
Cool.
This is about that community. So
yeah, I really dig it. So the anxiety's been so crazy lately that I haven't been able to breathe, and I've been wondering, like, is this going to continue? Am I going to have to get a prescription anxiety relief, which I don't want to do, but like the fact of not being able to breathe sucks even worse than anything. So
it's mini panic attacks.
It's just mini panic attacks all the fucking time, dude, and it's terrible. So I'm like, am I gonna actually need pharmaceuticals for this? Like, what's going on? So I actually started with this first, and I got these actually from a grocery store, and they're 30 milligrams
each. Okay.
But they're capsules, so it's nice, and I don't have to deal with droppers or sweets or anything like that. And they've actually been cutting the edge. They're only about a 10, if they're dosed correctly, they're only about a tenth of a daily, recommended dose. But I'm thinking I doubled the recommended amount on the bottle. It says take 1 to 2, and I take about 2 to 4 a day, depending on my anxiety. But I take one every 4 hours because I can almost feel them wearing off. I can almost actually feel it wearing off a little bit. I know it's effective even at a fraction of the dose. So cannabis plant, here we come, man. I love it. I dig it. All about it.
Good
Cheers, deal. Dirty QWERTY. We see you out there. I was actually smoking some of Red's. What did I get from you? Was it Roseberry that you gave me and my daughter?
Yeah, the CBD. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Roseberry.
I had her take literally one hit off of a clean bowl from it because she was like in a lot of pain from Crohn's today. And she said that she did not feel the anxiety from it and did turn the pain down. What
so that was
today?
Roseberry.
Yeah, today.
Sweet.
So she was like, the only thing I'm worried about, Dad, is like, if it works, then what? I was like, if it works, we'll figure it out from there. I just want to find something that we can start with you instead of, like, for being so young, you shouldn't have that. You shouldn't live with that kind of pain, nor should you have to subject yourself to the amount of pain medication and the CT scans and the x-rays and the constant, just being hospitalized and shit. That's really, really tough, man. So thank you. You provided some relief today, brother. That's your good deed for the day that you did. You didn't even know.
You're incredibly welcome, man. And I have at least a 10-pack of the beans that I got that from.
It could be sifted.
Might be able to find another one there. Could definitely be sifted out again. I no longer have the mom. I do. So Roseberry is ACDC and DJ Short's Blueberry. ACDC being the high CBD portion of it. I have kind of the opposite of what they did. I think that this DJ Short Blueberry was the male that they used on that. Well, I did the Auto male, which is high CBD, low THC, and I did DJ Short Blueberry female. I don't know, but I have a ton of those seeds if you want some of those beans as well to try to hunt through, which could potentially get a similar.
Yeah.
Maybe Dan, get a similar if I don't know.
Dan, have you ever messed around with CBD like that?
Just patches, really, or a couple gummies here and there. Never really true CBD by itself. My wife does a little bit, but me personally,
You mentioned the patches. Those patches are actually really, really cool, and I wish I knew the tech on how those are made because those are sweet.
At the provisioning center we go to, I can get some transdermal patches that really do a good job. But you know what? I get the same relief from your tincture. So
Yeah, right
I'm
on.
loving it, dude. Loving it. Loving it. And you're definitely be getting another order for that 10 milliliter bottle.
The big boy, the regular size.
Yeah, but let's see how many we can sell first.
It's awesome for me because like when we go to get-togethers and meetups and shit, you know, I don't always have like a shit ton of fucking cannabis to dole out to people because I'm just me and I don't have, you know, multiple cards and shit stacked. But I always make sure that I have like, I'll try to get a head count, like how many people are going to be there. Okay, cool. How many rollers do I need to bring? So, you know, that's what I always bring to the table and everybody's always happy with that. So
I dig it, man. It's badass. Thank you for sharing it.
Absolutely.
Just before, I'm sorry. Before we jump off of the CBD thing, I want to give a quick shout out to Charlotte Figgy. I probably butchered that last name, but you know, I'm sure everybody heard that Charlotte, who
from Charlotte's Web
the
CBD,
medical cannabis movement, she passed in this past week. Yeah, unfortunately due to COVID. So, huge shout outs to her and her family, and you know, just prayers all along and. To the cheers the CBD movement, to the medical cannabis movement and hemp movement and everything.
Well, her case specifically really started the conversation for cannabis as medicine.
And there was a lot of controversy behind it. Yeah, with all the controversy.
But who wants to see a small child suffer with so many? And Dan can really speak to this. Is someone having so many seizures a day that the quality of life is just, you know, not where it should be.
Yeah, and you know, for sure, for me, it was more longevity for life. I want this 800 milligrams of Tegretol they were pumping in me a day to kill my liver in 3 years. You know,
so Blizzard 14 for life shout out. I heard COVID. I didn't hear that directly from the family though. So I heard COVID though. So I'm not 100% on that one, but. I just said that just
because she's passed either way. So.
She has passed, unfortunately. Tara, yes, I am feeling better. Thank you very much. The CBD has been helping. I found out that it seems to be genetic. My cousin, who's a few years younger than I am, has been having the same problems. She lives in Washington State, and my aunt and a couple of other people. And yeah, so it seems to be hereditary anxiety, unfortunately. We're all going through it and getting through it. So thank you, Tara. Appreciate you. Love you all.
That's all you can do is, I mean, really, it just comes down to self-care and trying to find things to, I don't know, it's not like escape to, but you need like a way to get away from anxiety sometimes, you know what I mean? Figure out what the triggers are and what the situations are, and then recognize that even though you do all of that, you're still going to be affected by it. And don't get down on yourself. Don't, you know what I mean? Negative self-talk is never really going to help you with that. And that's the hardest thing. It makes you feel very alone, I bet.
Yeah.
You know, so anybody out there suffering from any kind of social anxiety or anything like that, anything, you know what? Don't feel that it's you, man. We love you and we accept you for who you are.
And try some CBD. It could help with a lot of it.
Red just had to be that stereotype guy there. Just haven't had the right strain yet.
Dude, it's funny. It's so funny you said that, man. Miss Red was on the phone with some of her friends. Her friends, I don't know. Every time I smoke, I get so high and stuff. And I just, in the back, hasn't tried the right strain yet. That's exactly what I was doing. Tell her to try something different. Tell her to try something less potent. Tell her to try something less stimulating. I'm going on and on and on.
Oh, Red, we love you.
Dan, what's your go-to? Maybe not necessarily terp profile. What's your go-to effect? What do you like to get out of cannabis?
Well, you know, I like the uppity. You know,
uppity.
Yeah, man, because I like to get things. Well, I try to get things done. You know, things I want to get done. Put it that way. Yeah, I try not to get the couch locked too much. You know, maybe at night, but yeah, man. Right now, my go-to is Primal Punch F1. I love it.
Is that what you were both, Scobo? Were you holding up your Primal Punch also?
No,
both
I
just holding
smoked
up
the
Primal?
I smoked the last of that. This is more citral, I believe. Yes, that's citral.
And
What
that
I
was
do is I
Primal in
pull
your
a
hand,
yeah,
Dan?
I pull a bunch of buds out and I throw them on my tray. And you know, sometimes you're like, oh, which one is this? Oh, I know which that is. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I got my little
Of course.
salad mix here. It's all Granddaddy, but I don't know what the shake is. Shake's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Panic attack on a platter lately. That's what that is. Anytime I've tried, I was like, the other day I had a great day, man. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna smoke some F13 before I get out of here, and I gotta like do what I gotta do for the rest of the day because I was feeling like getting a nice little head high and catching a sunset, stuff like that, you know. And I smoked it, and all of a sudden it rocked me on my ass. I couldn't breathe again. I had to take more CBD, and I was like, shit.
Cheers, I grew some out there.
Dan, I'm with you, man. I like the racier style. Like I like to drink a lot of coffee. I used to drink a lot of Red Bull. Skibble, that looks great.
All day, all night, brother. All day, all night. Coffee, and weed, man.
I'm always grinding, you know.
I love it.
Coffee just seems to be, yeah, and it's got a great, like, there's a nice entourage effect between cannabis
and coffee.
And coffee. I love the entourage effect that brings, man. There's just something about it, and the right strain.
The wake and bake, man.
Yeah,
that's where it's at. Even though this is the late sesh, Red and I both have like, and Dan as well. We all sort of have the same situation where we try to get up a little bit earlier so we can have our time to just sit there, drink some coffee, maybe smoke 2-3 joints. Dan will jump out of the gates and ready to just come out firing with the dabs. You know, he doesn't even hesitate. He's right there firing.
Usually, this is my bedtime right now, so you guys need to have like a donuts with Dankman in the morning or something. That way, we can have a morning show because I'm all about the mornings, man. I get up at like 4 or 5 o'clock every morning.
See,
we're almost
so the
that
tag
season
team
for me.
The tag team would be to go from one of our shows over to Eagle. Eagle's going to go off about 4 o'clock in the morning. Then you could go right into that for your 24-hour cannabis and go with Donuts with Dankman.
Hey, you know what? The other day,
the baton has been passed.
Show. I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and Eagle was still on. And, you know, I think he was on for like another hour. I sat out there with the headphones in the kitchen listening to him, you know, talking and chat. Man, that guy's got heart, boy. Heart.
I've been slowly getting back on my, let's say, like summer schedule. In the summertime, I like to like be awake when the sun's out, right? So I'll usually go to bed around 10 o'clock, something like that, and I'll get up at about 5 or 6 o'clock, right? And maybe I'll stay up to 11. I'm hoping that maybe Eagle will start like going into his 5-6 hour long marathons, and then I can actually catch or jump on his show in the morning. Yeah, exactly. I'll be able to wake and bake with Eagle, and then not feel you know, bad that I missed his show in the evening because I passed out too early or something like that.
Well, if my flower tent was running at night this cycle, it would be a lot easier to stay up. But my flower tent's running the day right now, so you know
it's almost going to be hot enough.
Yeah. So
I suppose you're almost to that season where you're going to have to start having your lights on during the middle of the night.
Cheers, Naughty.
Yeah, and actually, I like kind of running at night. It just didn't happen this round. So
we still got new names showing up in chat.
Go ahead, Skibble, shout them out.
We have Naughty Nikki, cheers. And we also have Oscar Green Jr. joining the sesh. What's happening, guys? I hope you're smoking right along with us tonight. A little bit of a thing is I'm Skilbo. That's Red. Our guest tonight is Dankman. Dan, you're listening to the Late Sesh.
And I see that I Gruesome had he's still got some B grade Primal Punch F2 in stock. Shout out to that. Right on.
Yeah, man. So what do you think, Dan?
I was just chatting with Trish. Man, I'm having a great time with you guys. Just puffed on some Primal Punch. I'm pretty fucking stoned.
It said Dankin' Donuts.
Isn't that funny or fun?
Shout out, dude.
You guys have the best audience. And I'm not saying that because I'm part of your audience. I'm saying that because your audience is kick ass.
No, because we just like to have fun and laugh and just
Yeah,
talk,
man.
man.
It's a good time.
This is what you see is what you get. You know what I mean? It's not like different people off camera or anything. It's who you are. It's easy.
Right on.
Yeah, dude. I have to thank you again, man, because kicking in chat like just about every single show, that's
I try
awesome.
to. The Sunday
Really
ones
awesome.
I make it to, and if I ain't working, I'll pick up the shows during the daytime. You know, Abolished was slamming them there back in January. I mean, like at
Something
noon
was.
and stuff. I had to quit working and hang on, guys. I gotta watch this show real quick.
Yep, get your
But,
half-hour content in, man.
you know,
Yeah, but
like COVID
cool.
kind of hit, and I got a couple like updates and stuff even backed up on my hard drive and stuff that I still got to send over to him and
Yeah,
things like that. And it's just like
things are
all the
crazy,
madness
man.
kind of hit, and I
I
really
was supposed
wanted
to be.
like we wanted to keep cranking them out for you guys too because we know you guys really enjoy that content. And, you know, whatever you're getting out of the content, like if it's either inspirational, if it's educational, whatever it is, we're getting the same back by
All
having your
above.
support in chat. You know what I mean? And it's and we learn from a lot of stuff that gets spitballed in chat just the same. So I appreciate you out there, man. Just so you know, it's me to you, you know, but it's
Totally,
also me to
feelings are
everybody else in
mutual, man.
chat too, you know.
Feelings are mutual, and you know, like I said, I feel like I've known you guys for a long time, and like when I see you in person, it's not going to be awkward at all. It's just
Nah.
like, like you're my old gamer friends.
Well, that's what it's been. Is whenever we had get-togethers. You know, in the beginning, we used to meet up at the Cannabis Cups and shows at
Yeah,
Clio and
I
things like
told you
that.
about that story, right?
Yeah, you were in line behind, right?
So you guys were behind
We were
me.
behind you. Okay, there you
Yeah,
go.
because I was at the front of the line, right at the security
Hey, did
guard
I put a
thing
picture
there.
up and you were
Man, they
like,
were
"Hey, that's
doing
me"?
dabs at the security desk there. And yeah, man, and I was looking for you guys and I couldn't find you. And this is at the summer burnout. And we walked around and couldn't find you guys. We ended up leaving, and I seen old man Hermit Hash's post, and sure enough, man, I'm in front of his post, you know, in his picture. I'm like, man, I missed you guys. But that was like 2 weeks. I just started following you guys. You're the one that told me about the summer burnout. I went down there. I got some badass for Growly dabs, and got some in-house genetics seeds. It was a good time. So even though I missed you, I still came out a winner.
Definitely shout out to you for Growly and Diamond Fresco. We'll see you in the chat. Cheers.
Yeah, sorry if nobody got notifications. I wasn't aware. Skilbo and I are not too familiar with going live solo. We usually have sequence to help us go live. So this time we
It's
went
all on me.
solo, and
It's all on me.
oh, it's all right, Skilbo. I had you back there, buddy.
That's it. That's how we roll in the late sesh.
But you know, just like I said, we're gonna thank you for letting us know. That way we can make sure we got the correct boxes checked next time. And sweet, thank you.
It's almost like I want to end the show, but I see people still in chat, like coming in and kicking it and everything else.
Right
and
on.
I'm like, ah.
Well, let's say this. How about before we end the show, does anybody in chat have any questions for Dankman Dan? Since a lot of you have been spitballing with Dankman Dan back and forth. Anybody
And-
want to know anything about his
Sorry
his
if I
roast
missed
style or
you
anything while
guys'
we have him on?
chat. I haven't really
No.
been watching it.
And if you can, in the chat, if you have love for Dan, drop in the chat for him right now. I want him to be able, when he comes back and watches this show for his wake and bake in the morning, I want him to see how powerful the community is that he's part of. So drop it.
You guys rock, man. And hey, when we hit 500 followers on Instagram, we're gonna do a giveaway. So let that be known. Get over there, follow Dankman Dan, and at 500, we'll do a giveaway.
Hell yeah, you heard him, folks. Jump over on Instagram, check him out.
Get yourself a Dankman Dan T-shirt.
Shit, I need a Dankman Dan t-shirt.
Hell yeah, me too. I'm gonna have to get one.
$24.99, Skilbo.
There it is.
You do trades?
We probably could.
We could swap.
That's
Yeah,
my favorite question at festivals. Just walk up to whoever's running the booth. You guys do trades?
right on.
Gotta have the eye and the look, right? Red, you need a monocle when you do that.
You gotta
I
have
think
the
it would be
right,
so
you
much
gotta have
better.
the right flip
For
flops
sure.
and backpack.
Right,
Gotta come
flip-flops.
prepared.
And back and fanny pack. Flip flops and fanny pack.
Come prepared.
Let's see. There we go. We got one cheers for you in there. And
Thanks,
we're hoping
guys.
if you guys have any questions for him, ask him. Let's keep it going here.
I have a question I can pull up. Unless somebody else has one faster than me, what's your favorite style of growing? Like not be quick with the media, like just say organic or synthetic. Let's say one word there, but what's your favorite
Well,
training
since I
method?
grow with nectar, can I say it's bottled organics or no?
Okay, there you go. Okay, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I like it.
Bottled semi-organics? I don't know. I grow with nectar and cocoa. But
I like it.
there's several varieties I'd love to try, but
And then
pretty
as
committed
far
to
as like training goes, do you prefer steaks or scrogging?
Oh my
Or
gosh. I
topping?
scrog when I have to, but I am a very hands-on kind of grower. I like to move my plants around. And man, I watch this guy on YouTube. I'm going to shout him out 'cause he's a badass. It's called Wizard NPK. This guy does some amazing things with stakes and staking out these plants and opening them up, and getting massive.
Dude, that's what I've been doing. Like I'll give you a cheap ass tech right now is I use both. I use stakes and I use a scrog. So like I have this huge Canuck seed skunk #1. Shout out to Abolished Farms for giving me the cut of that. And I really wanted to open it up. So if you get the large, like 18-inch long, they look like a big staple, and they're made for irrigation lines for holding down like soaker hose and shit like that. So what I did is I took the garden green wire tie stuff that you get on a spool, pulled it out. I tied it to one end of this large staple piece, which I can stick into my bed. Then I just reach up with that wire and I tie down the arm that I want to open it up, pull it down enough. And within 3 days, if you do that before you really start showing bud sites, you'll be amazed at how even your canopy will get and how much better production you'll have and better airflow as well as light penetration. So that's some cheap
Absolutely.
tech.
I agree with you.
Howdy, John boy.
100%.
Uncle Reefer.
Yo, back to you, Abolished Farms. And it looks like
Abolished.
okay,
We were just talking about him. See,
what's going on, dude? And I have a question from Aldridge25, which goes back to Dankman Donuts. What kind of donut? And after you answer that one, to Uncle Reefer, what medium do you clone in?
there was one
Me?
more too. Wait a minute.
Yeah, you, Dan. You're on the
Okay,
spot. Right?
I clone X straight to cocoa, yo. I don't fuck around. I have roots in 10, 12 days out of a solo cup. What was the other question?
The other question was, what kind of donut in the
Oh
Dankman
God,
Donuts?
it's gonna have to be Nutty Donut, man.
Nutty donut. You heard it first.
Red, we
Right
have an
on,
interesting
man.
question, which
Ooh,
is
I would like this. What's
is
that?
From Bizzer 14 Life says, I have a watering question. If the pot weighs 3 kilograms dry and I need to add at max 10% of pot size, how much should it weigh when I water again?
Ooh, God.
3.3
me?
kilograms, right?
Yeah, man, I'm not good at pop questions.
10%. Wouldn't that be 3.3 kilograms, or am I just way off?
I give. Water it when it's
Stoners are not the ones to ask, but what I
No.
would do is if you're saying that it weighs 3 kilograms dry and you want the max weight to be 10%, then you would have to say 10% of that in water weight is what I think you're saying. So you're going to have to weigh the water somehow, right? Is that the question then, or am I too stoned?
Yeah, we're pretty.
I would give it, depending on how big it is, I would try giving my plants a gallon of water if it's really, really light. When I up pot, I know how much it weighs when there's no, because you're doing living soil and That's what I'm doing too. But you have to get to that point. So you're using pots to get there. So I know how much it weighs. And then when I put like a gallon into it, I pick it up again, and I've never actually weighed them. And I don't think most plants aren't that super fickle or that genetically similar that I have to worry about it to that degree.
Yeah, and as far as me and my style, I grow in cocoa, so I'm able to water a lot more often. So I feed every day. Oops, sorry. I feed every day. I'm on a feed,
He made some
flush.
emphasis with that shit.
Yeah, that's my tray. I'm on a feed, flush, 6-day cycle. So yeah, I don't pick my pots up, man. They're always
So I'm reading this question now, and I'm looking at it like a math quiz. Now, he did say he's from Australia, so I don't think that there's any kind of a language barrier that's going to happen here. So what I'm getting out of this, he's saying 10% of pot size. So would we need to know the size of your pots before correctly answering this question, or is there potentially a language barrier that I'm thinking has to do with the I'm not thinking that there is. I don't think that there is at all. So I'm thinking, what's your pot size so we can get 10% of that, and then I can know how much water, because I'm guessing your pot size are in gallons.
It's like, well, it would be liters.
Gallons.
It would be liters.
Liters and kiloliters potentially.
Liters and milliliters.
Or are they numbers? Number 1, number 2, number 3, because of a European metric system.
metric system.
Some sort.
Baby, come. It's all off there.
I'm baffled with this question, though. I like it. I like where we're going with it. And it might just be one of those. He might have left out those variables also to confuse the shit out of us.
He says
stoners.
He says so you can't put too much water in. Maximum is usually 10% of pot size. That's what I meant. Okay, yeah. So he's saying 15 liters.
Okay, then 10% of 15 liters would be 1.5 liters. 1.5 liters,
which would be like a little less than a half a gallon to start. I just look at the leaves, you know what I mean? I look at the leaves. If the plant looks angry, like it's super like wilty and dying up, then I'm like, oh shit, I really need to give this thing some more water. But
yeah, when I was growing in soil, I would wait till the pot was dry, water it. It'd be in the wintertime be every 4 or 5 days, in the summertime every 3 days or so.
Well, something that if you're a bottle grower is to look into using silica in there, because silica is going to help you for drought. So if you are the guy that wants to let your pots dry out excessively, silica has been known to help plants be hardier for that. And it does that by, I think it increases the cell wall size.
Yeah.
And it also helps for the plant to move water and nutrients.
Yeah. And you should add, Scobo, if you're gonna put silica in, you need to add that to your reservoir
very first, yes. Otherwise it will get locked up with the other stuff. So
let it sit for an hour prior to adding any other nutrients,
and realize that it makes your pH go up out of the gates. But that's cool because if you're a salt grower, most of the other NPK additives all make the pH go down, so you should end up where you're supposed to be anyway. Red, come on, help me with that. You're the guy with the bottles here.
Dude, I'm so sorry, man. I was in chat and I was
gone.
Give me a question, spitball the question at me. Yeah, I was gone, dude.
It's all good.
I was in chat, man.
No, because now I'm looking at it because Shredder says 1.5. There we go. Yeah,
I was looking for another question for Dan real quick to see if there was one, and I got caught reading some other people's stuff going on, and Abolished is cracking me up.
I am totally missing chat, guys. So sorry.
Rice holes, yes, indeed. Yeah, well, I was talking about rice holes.
Sorry, what would you like my input on?
Is we were talking about silica, and Dan had mentioned how you have to put that in first, and I had mentioned yes, because if you do, you can lock shit out and everything. And then I asked you to chime in because you're the actual bottle grower here. So, what's your point on silica? And
silica gets mixed separately, and it gets added first. Yes, even in synthetic regimens. Yes.
What's up, Strello?
As far as the complete science behind it, I'm not sure, but I think it has something to do with bonding and ionic bonding and things, or potentially creating other molecules of some sorts. But
We have a question in chat, and they want to know what your Instagram is. So let's do this real quick here. Shout out your socials real quick, like we do for everybody else. Dan.
Oh, you can find me. I am Dankman Dan on Instagram. I'll put it in chat. Pretty much the way it's spelled on the screen, if you can see that. That's where I'm at. I don't have no YouTube or nothing. So. And if they do find me on YouTube, there ain't nothing there.
You'll find him in these chats is where you'll find Dan.
Oh, yeah. You can find me on every Michigan Bros chat. A couple Eagles chats if I'm up late or get them early in the morning. But
cheers, Uncle Reefer.
Yeah, it's always good to see you in there, man.
Thanks.
It is.
I tune in to hear what you guys got to say and listen to all them wonderful people out there in chat land.
Dude, cool. I know because I'm getting sucked into chat too, and you guys talking is helping me right now because I don't have to carry the mic and I'm just reading.
That's exactly what happens, man. I love it. I love it. Chatland. It is its own entity, man.
So, are you guys growing any grow off seeds?
I have them in line. Like they're in line with some other femmes that I want to pheno hunt. It's a matter of getting my plant count right.
Right on, man. Totally understand
right now. And other than that, I'm ready to get them in, man. It's about that time of year that I start popping seeds.
They got really good structure. Everything I've seen, even all the pictures I've seen, I can't complain about.
2020 Mendocino, definitely go check out their page. That's who the breeder of the grow off seeds are. You can also go check out 2020 Celos, and that's CEELOS. He has been sharing pictures of the aptly named now PTSD strain. I really like that name. That's just,
right on, man.
Even if that's not the official name, that could be the unofficial name because it's so much easier to do that than it is to spit it all out in lineage wise.
Right on.
Red agrees, nods sagely.
Yeah, I can do that. I don't think that's bad PC or anything. Dan, since I can't get like the photos do justice, but not enough justice. A picture's worth 1,000 words. I want a couple words on how the nodal spacing actually is, because a lot of them look like tight nodal spacing. So explain the nodal spacing without me having to
guys.
Visually look
at this node spacing.
Yes.
I'm finding slow vegetative growth, but the node spacing is so tight, I am not going to be able to train this plant, I'm thinking, because it is that tight.
You're going to have to remove some of those judiciously and get in there now before it has a real chance to start throwing crazy branches and choking itself in there.
Yeah.
And then the question is, there's two questions to that. Is you're saying that your grow off. So how many seeds have you got working right now? So potential phenotypes you've got.
Okay. I got 6 beans.
You got 6 beans. So they're all popped.
Okay. Nope. I popped 4 beans, for myself. Okay. And then I gifted 1 bean to another buddy, Birdwatcher 420. So he could grow 1 too. Not just solo. So I have 1 bean left, but all 4 of mine cracked. I have 3 short phenos and 1 tall pheno. My tall pheno, man, it's busting out almost 3 feet tall.
I know, it looks beautiful.
Great branching on it, but I'm looking for that strawberry terps. And from what I read on 2020 is the terps are coming from the shorter phenos. So I got 3 short phenos, all really tight stacked. Hopefully the inner branching starts expanding a little bit more, so we can get some training down. Because I really like staking my plants out, opening them up, but we'll see how they go. I'm gonna be flipping them here close to May 1st. Trying to build my root ball. I just put them in a 5-gallon bucket, so I like to have my root balls all built before I get them in the flower.
So how do you do that? Now, what's your secret to trying to build your root ball?
You just get it in that pot, 3 weeks prior to flipping it. Make sure it done already build its root mass, and it's not going into flower worrying about roots, and it's worrying about fruits. That's my personal opinion, but
There it is. Well, it helps when you run in cocoa like that because
oh
you
yeah,
actually are able to get that oxygen to pull right back in there and really hit those root tips and take off for that explosive growth. Plus, with that medium, you really can't overwater. You can just waste fucking product if you're a drain to waste guy. You know what I mean? Like you can have
I've
5
learned.
gallons of runoff if you want. Hey, that's your thing.
I've learned. I used to do a lot of runoff, but now I don't. I feed each plant, roughly a 2 liter of feed every day. On their flush days, they'll get a little bit more than that. They get a tea once a week.
And you're not
During the
finding
summer,
any salt buildup either with that, right? That's
no, it's
one thing I
calcium.
always.
It's a calcium line. I get a calcium buildup crust on the top of my pots because I use so much calcium. But
That's normal.
with,
Calcium's normal. Yeah.
yeah, with this nectar line for sure. I mean, it's crusty, guys. I actually got to go into my pots and rake them out because it's got
To break that top layer up because it gets
and
hard.
then I run SLF 100, up to 10 milliliters a gallon to help break that down, and they just reverts it back to food for the plant. But yeah, in this cocoa, man, I'm able to achieve these massive root balls in these 5 and 10 gallon pots that they're complete root, you know.
It's always nice when you get to the end of the grow and you're breaking everything down and cleaning shit up and you get to that root ball and you're like, okay, man. So when you pull it up, it's almost like you want that drum roll in your head and you want to see all the way down to the bottom, just thick.
When you got to cut your fabric pot off your root ball.
Oh, okay. There you go.
You got a good root ball, right?
For sure.
Azos and Mycos.
Oh, man. I love Azos, man.
We're the missus just ordered some Bigfoot for us though, so we're gonna try that Bigfoot mycorrhizae and give that a run.
Something else I used to use was Organism XL. It was another powdered thing that had a lot of cool microbes and stuff in it.
I love it.
They still make it. Yeah.
Love the
So is Mrs. Dankman, would it be Dana? Would Mrs. Dankman Dana be a grower also?
That 420 wife. You can find her on Instagram.
At 420 wife. That's right. Okay, yeah, you did mention that.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Okay. She's kind of in the shadows, but yeah, she's a full part of the grow. Got a green thumb just like me, and she enjoys it, man. It's therapeutic. Just being in that garden is therapy in itself.
I've always felt bad for her, especially when you told us that in the beginning that you used to have the sound of the podcast, the Michigan Bros Grow Show. You had it going through the whole house through speakers and stuff. And I'm like, man, you got to give that lady a break just because you want to hear it all the time. I'm sure she's tired of hearing our sounds.
Yeah, man, because, you can get immersed in this cannabis and that's all you want to talk about. And man, I felt so bad for her because that's all I just bombard her with this information. I want to talk to her about, pH and TDS and all this stuff. And eventually, man, she's like, man, if I can't beat him, I got to join him. So
exactly.
She's right here with us, guys.
She learns through osmosis.
I'm going to take your advice and just keep walking around the house talking about TDS and PPMs. There we go.
She's learning, man. I test her. I give her tests. And
I give her tests.
I do. I'll ask her random questions, what's this? What's that? She hammers it out, man. She's learning.
Now, does she help you garden?
I'll take that as marriage advice. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Well, we got a set schedule we use. Like I said, I'm going to feed tea, feed flush. So we all know what's going on in the garden because it's on a schedule. So it doesn't matter which one of us feeds because we just follow the same schedule. It's all printed out right there by the day. Has my days of flower. Everything's printed out. What you feed it on day 21 through day 27. This is what you're going to feed it. Day 27 through day 33. This is what you're going to feed it. You can't go wrong, man. And
I love hearing like couples that grow. I think that's awesome, man.
But you got to be committed to the way we grow because you got to be in there shaking them bottles and doing it every day.
Well, I want to commend you before I'd switch topics on you and ask you, but you were talking about the low runoff and only having certain like low EC or flush days, however you want to call it. But I like that. I commend you for joining the low to no runoff squad, man. I
Right
dig
on,
it.
man. Less is more. Less
That's the
is more.
sequence way too. We did have a
Yes.
question in chat from Miss D's Nugs. The question was first time trying autos. Seeds are on the way. Any advice or pot size? And also to follow that up was cocoa better for autos? I currently use super soil. So I would take the last question, which is cocoa better for autos. I don't think that there's really that big of a difference between autos and photo periods and things like that when it comes to the soil that you're using, because it is genetics and it's all different. So some things may prefer one medium, some things may prefer another one. It's not necessarily reg seeds are better in organics and autos, or fems are better in another one. So your mileage may vary. I would say that if you already are an established grower and you've already grown before in super soil like you have, that you probably know something about it. So go with what you know when you're starting like a new plant, run it in that system. And then if you find that it's lacking after 1 or 2 runs and you still like the genetics and you want to keep it, then try to run it, or maybe cut a clone and try one a certain way. But definitely, I guess what I'm saying is cheers. I'm glad to see somebody else that's growing their own.
And you're set. You gotta go.
Yeah, I love it. Abolished Farm says, "What's runoff?" That's funny. He grows like in runoff.
Sips. He does a sips, which is a sub-irrigated.
Sub-irrigated.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I gotta get going.
Thanks, got it. Yeah,
Catch you guys
he's
short,
got to go
man.
to bed. We're gonna hang out. I'm gonna give you a chance to give some shout outs to some people and then get the hell out of here.
Right on, man. I want to shout out Tara Wilson. Thanks for being an OG Broski with me. You should be here on this feed with us because you're in chat. Shame on you.
I invited her. She couldn't make it.
I know. I saw it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you giving me the invite. And, you can find me on Instagram. Look for me there, or on the Michigan Bros Grow Show chat. That's where I'm at, man.
Definitely.
Holding the
Thanks
rent.
again for the opportunity. It was nice talking to you, Brad.
Absolutely. Get some
Dan,
rest.
man, it's great talking to you. Thank you so much for jumping on the show, man. I won't hold you up with a giant thank you monologue, but I really appreciate you, brother.
All good. Peace out, brother.
Later, bro. All right. You know what? That was a really good show, guys. I really appreciate that. I've had a great level of respect for Dan since I first started talking to him in the chats and in the grow off. So it was really, really good to get him on here. And he's right. Tara Wilson was also scheduled to be on here, but she wasn't able to make it tonight in person. So she came in spirit and wanted to hang out in the chat with us. What do you guys think of this? Has this been decent? This again is live, so it's how we're trying to do the show now for you guys, because we recognize the chat. Sometimes you just need like a bus shelter to stand underneath and kick it with. So,
Scobo, I'm kind of digging the live show. This is our second one now, and I think I said it last time also, but I really enjoy getting a chance to interact with chat while we're creating the show. I think that's totally part of making.
It's more fun for me. I mean, but
me too. That's
I don't want the
from.
content to suffer where they're like,
Yeah, if you guys think that it should be something where we're going on without you guys and we have our own topic, and then we can shoot the shit with you in chat, would be a different thing. Let us know that also. But we did another one of these just on Saturday night. So if you didn't get a chance to pop in with us on Saturday night, it wasn't planned or anything. All of a sudden some numbers came up and everybody was like, let's get together for a quick live session. It was pretty much everybody from the Bros Show. It was damn near a Bros Show live.
Yep.
So we just happened to do another one on Saturday. So check that one out also if you guys have not yet.
We still have 43, just changed on my screen, 43 people hanging out in the chat. Cheers. Since we got 43 people, Brad, we got to smoke something. We got to smoke a bowl. We got to smoke some hash.
Let's smoke some hash. Yeah, so let's see here. Since
let me see what I got.
I might actually toss some Death Star and mix it with some of this. I might do a little blend here. So I'll show this off again here. This is the Grande Purple dry sift that I put together. I love it. It's great.
You know what?
It's got that gasoline smell. What's up, Scobo?
Oh, I was gonna try to get it to focus on
Oh.
you for that.
They're gonna show it. Okay.
Yeah. Let's go to speaker view and see what happens. Say something.
Something extra. Something extra special here.
Here we
Oh, did that go? Yeah, that definitely hit the play button on the keyboard. So that's gonna be gnarly to clean up.
It's beautiful.
I have to remember to get a dustbuster for that, not just
Yeah, man.
press it in further to the keyboard. But that's that right there. You know what, man? While I'm packing this up, I have to give a huge shout out. So my furnace went out today, which always sucks. It's funny too, because anticipating like a power outage, my parents' power went out, which really sucked, probably from the wind. But I was like, you know what? Maybe I should chop some wood just in case it's supposed to get cold tonight, and it's really cold. So I went out and I chopped some wood. Came back inside, and I'm doing some work in the kitchen, man. I'm taking some time just organizing the spice cabinet because it needed to be done, and we're trying to look for like groceries, see if we can get something delivered, which is actually not possible right now because everything's overbooked. So anyways, we're gonna figure that out. We Mr. Red's like, it's getting cold in here. I'm like, yeah, it's whatever, turn the furnace down, and we'll turn it back up. So I didn't really think anything of it, right? A little while later, she's like, it's cold in here, and I'm like, you know what, it kind of is. I hadn't really felt the furnace come on. Sure enough, it's out, man, and not working. So I gave my buddy a call, who's an HVAC. What you got there, Scobo?
That is my Keef Catch jar that I use. And I've done this before on other shows, but it's been a long time since I've done it. So you've got a jar of Keef, right? And you're like, how am I going to get this shit out of it? So check this out. I have a little scooper here, works really, really well, and it's totally free. So if you are lucky enough to have a 7-Eleven or something like that around you, what you can do is you can get one of their straws, you know, the scooper straws. So you just cut it to the size that you want that'll fit inside of here. And it's really nice because your Keef won't stick to it. You can get a humongous scoop on here and it goes right in the bowl. So there's your cheap poor man's tech.
That's a huge scoop. You could even like tilt it down and use it as a funnel to like funnel down into like your chillum or something too.
Look how much Keef this is. And this is loaded into the straw. I could backload this if I wanted to. And I mean, that's more than enough for what I need. So I'm gonna load up this. This is the Catch one. So this is a combination of probably 4 or 5 different strains. It's gonna be some Silver Squirrel Farms Keweenaw Chopper. Shout out to him. I love that plant.
Down and use it as a funnel to like.
Oh, look who just joined us. If it isn't the next man I was going to mention, which is Abolished OG by one Abolished Farms, is also what is inside of this, as well as what else do I have in here? There's going to be some Gorilla Glue, some Citro Glue, some other good stuff. So cheers.
Yeah, dude, Sesh getting started now. What's going on?
I guess we're not going off the air, folks. I guess we're gonna keep it going. He was the one talking about Encore and shit like that. So if we're gonna keep it going, introduce yourself. Tell them where they can find you.
Shout out, but let's shout you out, man. What's up, Abolish?
Are you ready, Red?
Abolished Farms.
Ready?
I heard you guys were gonna burn one. I figured
I'm
I'd
not
jump in
ready.
here and join my homies.
Hell yeah.
Come on in.
I didn't mean to extend the show if you guys are getting tired, but
Nah, I ain't
if we
getting
wanna
tired.
Keep going. I'm totally down.
I just don't want to bore the chat. That's all.
I was just gonna jump over and see what Eagle's doing after this.
Oh yeah, you
Let's
guys
keep this rolling. Here's to you, dude. Oh my god, dude, this hash has still kind of got a little malleableness to it, which is really nice.
She's still pinchy.
Pinchy, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's the best.
This will break here. Ooh, there you can see the inside.
That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying that.
Probably see
water.
more dirty fingernail than you can hash, but still, oh well.
Like the bubble hash texture that I'm
Yeah,
looking
garden
for when
nail.
I'm smoking it.
Andy
I
Man
like
said that Abolish is dropping in from hyperspace in the fall.
It looks like it, dude.
Make it so.
Space plasma.
So what's going on tonight, brother?
Space.
Just,
Well,
hanging
I'm
out.
waiting on Red to get his shit ready.
Just got done watching some Mandalorian with Miss C. Hanging out.
Cheers.
I heard
to
you
Miss
get-
C.
So Miss C. She don't.
Cheers,
she don't
Miss
wanna
C.
come on camera.
I'm all slow to act over here.
She's getting ready to go to bed, but she said, "What's up, everyone?" I need to pop my chat back up so I can see chat. I hurried up and closed it down because I had volume going, like 3 different sounds coming through the mic when I came in here. Straight rookie style. Call myself a producer.
The Abolished Nebula is what I'm thinking when I look at the pictures behind you.
I'm the rookie over here. It's taking me like twice as long to
Oh, what's going
pack a
on,
bowl,
man?
put a little hash in a bowl here.
And you have to be very careful how you like that as well. So there's a little bit more time on
It's
the
gonna
climb.
take a little while. So before I forget, I want to shout out my homie at Pro Touch Building, Pro Touch BLDNG on Instagram. Old roommate of mine, very good friend of mine. Not NG, sorry, it's Pro Touch BLDG. If you guys need HVAC work, Michigan area, basic contractor jobs, anything like that. He's a great guy. He's very knowledgeable in many fields, and he'll get your jobs taken care of. He's trying to get his foothold in contracting and things in cannabis. So, you know, he's reliable and he's not shady, you know, and he's not going to he's discreet. Let's just say that. He's down with discretion. So anyways, my furnace went out and he walked me through being able to figure out what component it was on the furnace. We did some trial and error, pull and plays with a few sensor trigger wires and things like that. And I actually got my furnace turned on without having to go to the store through just him talking me through this, which was nice. I do need a new part because it's busted. But like I said, I was able to put a Band-Aid on it with an old toggle switch out of my old car that I had for like neon lights or something. I just had to jump a couple of wires together and bypass the sensor. So unfortunately that safety feature is not working right now, but hopefully I can get it fixed in the morning. So sounds like I'll be able to do it myself, which is hopefully I'll be able to do it myself, which is nice. But man, shout out to him. Shout out to his Instagram if you guys want to check him out.
And I want to say shout out to Modern Genetics as well as Reels. What does that say? I don't have my glasses on. 100 212. Welcome to the late Sesh.
And
We
by
got
the
a
way,
question in
cheers.
chat asking about mainlining. You guys ever messed around with that?
I have in the past, yeah. I let my
No, but I
plants
want
go.
to.
Yeah. I do early and often training for my plants. I don't know. I've scrogged. I've used the tomato cages. I've used LST. I've used HST. If there's a weird way to do something, I've probably fucked around and tried it. Maybe not done it well, but I've tried it. But mainlining works really well. You just have to remember that you are working, you're slowing the plant down. Every time that you are working it, look at Abolished over there, Naj and Sagely, you're slowing the growth down. So if you have no timetable really, or a wide enough swing in a timetable, I definitely feel that mainlining is a great way to maximize your plant count. Like if you've just got to make it work, then that can be a really good way to try to minimize larf and waste. And if you're dealing with a very, very short tent, if that's all you can work with, you got the Michigan basement, you know what? I really wouldn't recommend you trying to grow a really strong leaning sativa that wants to be 6.5 feet tall in a Michigan basement. You're going to have a bad time. And I'm going to pass it off to these other two and see what they say.
I was about to say
That's an
spot
incredible
on,
point.
Scobo. That's a great explanation of it. I'd say like mainlining really you should only do it if you're limited on say plant count and the actual space you can grow the plant, because it does take a while to do like a good mainline. Like I can veg a
Throwing it up and then yanking her down.
half-pound monster in the same time that you can do a couple ounce mainline. Like it takes a minute to set up that structure. But damn, does it make a pretty plant?
It makes a pretty plant for sure. If it looks like a flat menorah or something, I think it's really cool.
I love it when I see them stake down when they're on like the 5th node and they're already doing it. And I go, yeah, because the problem is if you let them grow too big and then try to do it, all of that inner branching that you're exposing to the light is already sickly and weak because it hasn't had good light penetration. So the stalks are underdeveloped for those branches, right? You're never going to get good flow through those unless you're able to bounce them back after they've been open and spread up to the light and you've done some maintenance on them and things like that. But you have to start that really, really early, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know, I also like the artists that are able to craft a really, really good scrog net. Like where they begin scrogging early in veg and they continue through it and they just like similar to mainlining, you know what I mean?
I'm
But
telling
like,
you, I've been doing this and I still do this. I mentioned it on, I don't know, I've done too many different shows. I've mentioned it before on some show that we did, is I go through with my pots when I had plastics and I drill holes like a clock around them. And I use the green garden wire. And I start training my plants when they're in veg. And when I transfer them into the bed, that way I know exactly the size that I'm trying to get them into. So I just untie them from the pot. I do my transfer. I put them in, goes right where I want it to go, and it's off to the races. I strip a little bit more than I need to, and it's good. It's better that than it is to do the hard training sometimes of like the hard pinching and shit. You know, you don't always have to do that. You can tie them down, and it's nice because it's reusable as well.
yeah, I like each plant to take up like this is me personally. 12 to about like 12 to 16 square feet or cubic feet. I like each plant to be about 2 by 2 by 3 to 4 feet, right? 2 feet wide by 2 feet wide, I guess, and then maybe 3 to 4 feet tall. And to me, that gives me good averages if I put 4 plants under
Yep.
a 4 by 4.
4x4. Yep.
You know?
You're gonna fill the screen. You're not fighting. You don't have to. That's the thing is you could transfer like if for us into a bed or something and you're trying to fill out that scrog, you can flip your plants when they're smaller and just keep your lights running on a veg cycle rather than flower. But that again, that's time and that's an executive decision that you're making as to when you want to be able to harvest or when you're able to. And before I let it go, Don Silent, see you out there, brother. Peace. Cheers. I hope you're smoking along with us.
Another thing that I've noticed big time in like my data is if you're trying to fill out a net with your actual stretch from your first couple weeks of flower, don't do the 48 hours of darkness. Like I swear, it seems like across the board it cuts my stretch down big time. So if you're trying to fill out a net, it's not always best to do that. Just do a longer flower run that time. I know it's nice to get the 48 before, but you can live without if you need the space.
For my beds this time around, the only plant that didn't hit the proper space in the net was the blueberry quintessa, but that's because it was very, very, very small when I put it in, like extremely short. It was like say 16 to 18 inches tall when I threw it in. So I parked a 4K a quantum over top of it, 240 watt, and that's I've adjusted it so that it's getting the lighting. And I'm also using that same light to illuminate the headlights that I got off of Spartan, which is a cross between Headband and Northern Lights. And I'm telling you, this is Average Joe Genetic, which sadly that company is not in business anymore. But I am super, super stoked with it. And I've always been a big fan of Northern Lights. And along with Abolished, who doesn't love a good headband, right? So the smell on this, I believe, I'm kind of high, but I'm going to try to remember. I think it was Canna Kitten that said that it tastes like meatloaf or Salisbury steak or something like there's like a meaty terp off of it. And if I'm wrong on who said it, I apologize to who did. But I went through and I was moving the plant around and I had touched, a main part of the main stem. And when I brought my hand away, I was like, son of a bitch, doesn't this fucking smell like a meatloaf dinner? So and it's like
Salisbury steak day.
Dude, like you're
in
still
South
working
Park.
around in your garden and you have different plants, you're not monocropping. So you move on to the next plant and you do your thing, but you keep coming back to that other plant smell. You're like, damn, that smells really fucking, it smells semi-familiar in the sense of like the old school Northern Lights smell, but there's something else there that's just like interesting. So to keep it going with that strain, today in my garden, I ended up taking half of the clones out of my oxycloner that I'd taken and put those into their first pots. And that was The Abolished gave me the sour melon, so my first clones, a second round of clones off of that. That's still in flower. I have a couple of skunk one, the headlights, the blueberry quintessa, and that headlights was the first thing to really get down and start showing the roots in there, and just is a beast. So I'm really excited to be able to keep that and run it again. Who doesn't
Hey.
love old school strains out there? Come on, it can't all be
I
2020
love the
strains.
old school,
Yeah.
dude. You know me. You know me. I don't.
garden
I
is the
just started
oldest.
growing. I just started growing like post 2015 strains. I think. I don't know.
Well,
I gotta give a
Abolished
shout
OG
out to
is the
Don's.
cheese, you know.
What we got? Reels 100-212 popped in. What's up, man? Don's silent. What's going on? And you know what? There's this question of furnace question between John Boy and Andy Man. They're kind of asking which sensor it was. It was not the thermocouple. I have a flame sensor, but my flame sensor is actually not even hooked up to anything. There's no lead coming off of it at all, which is kind of strange, and it still works. So that's been bypassed before I bought the house. And then it was actually a upper limit switch that went bad. So that is what is now bypassed, is my upper limit switch. So
here's
there's all kinds of safety features bypassed on this furnace. It's 25 years old.
It's a bomb at this point, people.
25 years old, man. No lie. But I'm gonna get it fixed. I'm gonna get it fixed.
Red was but a pup at 10 when that thing started its service.
Got some years on it, man. It definitely does.
Let's get some miles on her.
Got a few miles. I might have to replace this sucker this year. Yeah, we'll come back
See,
to it. But no, seriously, cheers, chat. Cheers, everybody that jumped in there. Miss D's Nugs. I see all you guys out there.
Miss D's, and look, Modern's talking
Modern
about
Genetics.
the old
What's up?
Miss D's is talking about my favorites: AK-47, Northern Lights, Super Silver Haze. You cannot go wrong with any of the three of those. In fact, to make a story about
AK-47.
I have actually had that with the Super Silver Haze crossed with AK-47 in a string called Danny Trevino years ago, and that was a beautiful, tall monster plant that had some amazing terps on it. So, oof.
I may or may not have paid over $200 for like a half ounce of AK-47 back when you were able to still do that and it not be a budget breaker, you know, which is I'm kind of baffled that was even possible, but it was.
Visitor for Life out there talking about got 2 Northern Lights going right now from Royal Queen Seeds. Oh yeah, I hope you like those. You got the AK also? Man, we got some vault genetics jumping off here, man.
AK
That's
is
great
so
to hear.
AK is just, I love like the lime green, like
The
gassy,
piney, super piney,
gassy, piney, dude. Yeah, real piney, super lime green though.
That's why it's such a straight shooter, man. And if you deal with any kind of like brain fog or have a hard time being able to focus on something, smoke a bowl of AK-47 and see if it doesn't do wonders for your ability to sift through the bullshit.
I think we talked about this before. That was my first time like getting real like dro or like
Maui.
Dude, there's a dude who claimed to always have had some Maui Wowie, and I was it was around the 08, 09 era, so a lot of like the new strains were coming out. And that was
you can still get Maui in seed form though too. There's a seed form of it out there.
Vader just
good.
It was up, I think, didn't he?
He's working with it right now, but I think oh shit, man. I know it's been out there. Can't remember.
Yeah, dude. I've had a couple people hand me packs of Maui Wally because it's another one of the projects like Skunk One that I've been trying to get going for a long time, and it's just not worked out for me yet. I want to try it. I've never had legit Maui Wally, and I like to go down and hit all the historic strains, and that's one of the key ones I haven't had.
I got a little tidbit here since we are a Michigan show and I love to shine a light on Michigan people. Is I had mentioned earlier about the Keweenaw copper being from Silver Squirrel Farms. If you get a hold of him, he might still have some of these, but he had the Keweenaw copper crossed with the Super Silver Haze, which I passed out to a couple of people in the panel. And there was also a Keweenaw copper crossed with Panama Red, which I think I gave some to some people. There was, I think, Abolished. You ended up with the Keweenaw copper crossed with the lamb's bread, right? Isn't that the one that I let you get? That's another classic old school one. So people are still working with these genetics, and it's kind of cool that there are people right here in Michigan that are doing it. So definitely go give Silver Squirrel Farms a follow on Instagram and reach out to him. He always answers his DMs. Burnt rubber skunk, so nasty, and that's one of my favorites. In fact, the Moby Dick that I got from Kyle Gardner has that burnt rubber skunky smell to it, and I really, really enjoy that. But now that I've got the Canuck Seeds Skunk One, and I really like the way that it grows. I like the structure. I like the leaf on it. I like the way that the bud sites are on it. It's nice and stacky, but it's not going to choke itself out. So I made an executive decision, and Skunk One is the burnt rubber for me.
Yeah, it definitely after the cure that comes out. But I'd say like right when you're chopping it, it smells like pure fecal matter to me.
The baby shit, right?
Similar to
Get your carbon strippers
Apollo
ready,
or
boys.
no? I know you smelled the Apollo. Was it similar to that or no? The Apollo's
It's-
pretty more cheesy, but
Yeah, the Apollo I'd say is like what I think cheese should smell like more than even like my OG is supposed to be an old school cheese cut. I think your Apollo smells more like cheese than my OG does any day.
it almost feels
Yeah.
like
But
Yeah.
it's a different smell.
It's weird. It like the
I wish I
consistency
could
of the bottoms
describe-
is like cheese too. It's kind of.
I wish I could describe the OG flavor to people the way that it's coming through. It's like an herbal kind of, I don't know. It's very hard for me to describe. I need to give some to Red and let him taste it so he can report back and tell me what I'm really supposed to be getting out of it.
Yeah, for me, like all OGs were very similar. They all had that, and for me, I always noted it as that OG taste. You know what I mean? It was just I don't know, like gassy pine, like pine gassy ish, I suppose.
Yeah,
Something
pine's
like that.
big.
Well, in the chat today, it was funny because Spartan was saying how he finally took his sour melon down. And I think he was at day 75 or something yesterday when he told us on the live stream. So he took it down today.
77, Miss C said.
77. Okay. And he reported that the terps were completely different on his versus what we've had from the exact same cut from Abolished. So it's very interesting to see whether it was a matter of the change in, now here we go, ready? Is it the change in A, the grower environment, the B, the plant environment, the C, the expression of how he grows with which lights, or is it the amount of time that they took it to harvest, or is it all of the above?
I'm going with time because my little brother actually runs the cut too, and he takes it towards 80, and I think it loses some of its flavor, and I think that's where Spartan's getting maybe the spiciness out of it.
He said pepper.
But he should still get the undertones of what I love about the sour melon. But if you take it before that, like right at 70 or right before 70, she's just so loud.
So you run your 70 for that strain.
If I can, most of the time it's around 65.
65.
So
Okay.
65 to 70, somewhere in there, dude.
Because Abolished gets impatient.
Good. That's my personal meds.
Abolished
I'm like, yeah.
smash. I got to get her, yeah. Well, I wonder if
Love
you
it.
get a lot more stack and a lot more return if you wait the extra days.
I think.
Oh,
you
yeah.
do.
Big time in that strain. He at least added another ounce waiting another 10 days on it.
So
Just
then
a little
here,
bit together.
the cheap executive decision is for you to harvest an ounce off of the plant while it's still growing and let the rest of the plant finish out for that additional week. Then you get the best of both worlds. You get a little bit of early meds that can carry you through, and then you can really put the pedal to the metal and reap the rewards of that ounce coming back at you.
You know, I'm only going to second that emotion.
I have no reason to not be finishing that thing, honestly, because like I said, once it enters that last trimester, I just throw it in the 24 hours and then I start my veg in that tent around them, you know? So it's really me just being impatient for my own personal meds. I love it so much.
You would smoke that every single day if you could, wouldn't you?
I really would. It used to be. I used to be all about my OG all day, and now I just want my sour melon. I function so much better on it.
Cheers, Black Red. We got a question from him out there, which is, what are the terps like on the sour melon? Abolished.
Exactly like its name says to me.
Yeah.
Like you can't get better than that when the strain is named what the hell it tastes like.
I still
you're
have a
talking
little
about.
sample of that I'm holding on to. waiting for
What?
a
Oh,
special
Abolished
day.
is gonna come fucking snipe you tonight and get that off.
I hope not. I shouldn't have
What do
said
you got?
anything.
I
I'm
said
still
he's
waiting.
he said he's
I
got
gotta
some sour
watch it,
melon.
man. It
Yeah.
was given to me like during my anxiety fit, so I have to like be careful what I smoke. So I still haven't checked it out. I don't know if
Oh
it's a good
yeah,
time to like try new stuff right now.
You're gonna enjoy
So yeah, so I'm waiting for a good day, and then as soon as I have a good day, I'm gonna party with it. It's gonna be fun because I'm gonna get to switch it up and get a whole new entourage effect, which is always a fun day. That's always a fun day. And I'm hoping it's a lot more sour. I hope it's a little sour and a little melon. I hope it's melon on the flavor and sour on the high. Be honest with you.
just dances on your tongue.
Yeah, maybe on bicycle day. That might have to be a good one. I might have to try it on bicycle day before 420.
Definitely, dude. That's what it said. When I have sour melon in, you can tell like in our production or whatever. I'm just throwing something out every other day.
Someone mentioned that earlier about like January. They were like, "Oh man, there was so much stuff that was coming out." I think it was Dan saying in January you were plugged up.
Yeah. Dan was talking about all the stuff that was popping off in like January, February, and I was putting a couple more updates than I have lately, but out there for you too. But of course, the world got weird, and I got weird because of it. So, dude, I saw Colombian Gold in chat, Modern Genetics mentioned that strain, and it reminded me that I had these old belt buckles laying around that my old man had, and this is an old Acapulco Gold belt buckle.
Oh,
I mean, dude, these things are probably from the late 60s or 70s
late
or
70s,
something.
probably
Late 70s, maybe.
78.
It says, I would walk a mile for Acapulco Gold.
And
that
that
was a real fun
is
one
talking
right
about
there.
I would walk a mile for a camel. That's an old throwback to the camel.
And then I wish I pulled this one out when Dan was here. This says Dope and Dan.
Holy shit.
That is sweet, man.
You like
Dude,
that?
I've never seen that one before. That's pretty sweet.
The ATF, Dope and Dan. Pretty dope, huh? Yeah, I've held these around for a long time.
John Boy says, I was given a bud from a friend. This smells like craft dinner.
That's awesome. That's better than Salisbury steak.
KRAFT.
Pretty hung up on that Salisbury steak. Like I can't wait to actually try that. Like that sounds really interesting to me. That's one of my like childhood favorites. I love the smell of that.
Tastes like school lunches, right? Or whatever.
Tastes like frugal living to me.
Yep. The Hungry Jack dinners. Cheers, Chad. I see there's still 38 of you out there. And I think we probably got him. Oh, man, we can't keep doing this to these guys. We got to get out of here on them. I want to shift people over to Eagles Show from here. And I don't want to just hog up the airwaves. So
yeah, I wonder if he's still got my good friend Sonia on. If not, I wonder who's on right now.
Yeah, I definitely want to shift the community over there, though, so we can show some love and keep it going. What do you think, Chad? Is everybody pretty good for the night? I know we smoked a shit ton of
they're all going to say no,
cannabis.
keep it rolling.
Yeah, I know. The show was only supposed to be like an hour, so.
I did my shout outs for the most part earlier. I shouted out my my good old roommate, and I shouted out my best homie, New Standard. I'll shout out the Frugal Force, and I'll shout out Eagles Show, and I'll shout out the Michigan Bro Show and everybody on there. And actually, I guess I'll shout out my Instagram because I went live a couple of times, and I'm probably going to start going live a little bit more from outdoor. And maybe when I'm getting some work done, I might go live. So hope to see all you guys in there. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Cheers, chat, cannabis community. Love you all. Peace out.
In the meantime, somebody grab the link for Eagles Show and drop it in the chat for people so they can jump.
I'll do that real
there.
fast.
Appreciate it. Abolished.
Shout out to all these people above my head, of course, the Girl Ski community, and the best thing to do on a Monday night, the late sesh here. May the frugal force be with you.
And since neither one of them did it, when they say the frugal force, for our new viewers out there, they're talking about the show that they're both on, another live stream on the Michigan Bros Grow Show, and that premieres at 8 p.m. on Saturday nights Eastern Standard Time. Definitely go check it out. And also make sure that if you like the content that we put up, make sure that you have the notifications bell checked on there. Some people aren't getting notifications. We're going to look into it on our side. I see Red just dropped the link in the chat. So on that note, I'm Skillbo1, and our guest tonight, I want to say thanks to Dankman Dan, my co-host, Red Setter Farm, and the late ad by Abolished, who came in perfectly when I was getting ready to talk about his strain. So from all of us to all of you, stay safe. We'll catch you again on the next late sesh. And unless anybody has anything else to add, I think that'll be it.
I want to say thank you, Srelhao. I probably butchered that too, but I blended
Srelhao.
it the best I could.
And
Cheers to you too. Later, everybody.